Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is lamp. L-A-M-P.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Groucho! Say, that's me, Groucho Marx. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples.
Well, Groucho, we invited some dental assistants to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Judy Garvin. Her partner is an industrial designer from the audience, Mr. Hunt Lewis. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. I'd like to find you around the house. Miss Judy Garvin, weren't you at the Palace in New York?
No, that's a different Garvin.
Oh, Garvin. Oh, I see. I don't hear very well. How old are you, Judy?
I'm 18.
Where are you from, Judy?
I was born in El Centro, California.
Oh. Mr. Lewis Hunt, where are you from, Mr. Hunt?
My name is Hunt Lewis.
Oh. I've never hunted, Lewis. I've hunted bear, but that was in the summer, and it was okay. You mean Hunt is your first name?
What I usually use for a first name, actually, it's my middle name.
What's your first name? El Centro?
Cicero.
Oh, Cicero. Isn't that a town in Illinois?
Yes, well, it is, but it's the name of a Roman senator, too.
That's the trouble with those senators. They should stop Rome and spend more time in Washington. Where are you from, Mr. Lewis?
I was born in Portland.
Well, which Portland? Is that Portland Hopper or Portland Cement?
Portland, Oregon.
Are you married, Mr. Lewis?
Yes, I am.
Where'd you meet your wife? Did Portland introduce you to her?
No, I met her when I was in college in Princeton.
Oh, you're a Princeton man, huh? What was she studying?
Oh, she wasn't studying. It's a boys' college. Didn't you know that?
Is that so? Well, Einstein is in Princeton, and he's 72 years old. You better explain what she was doing then. You better explain pretty fast. Because Mrs. Einstein might hear of this.
Well, she was living in Princeton in those days with her father.
Was it a case of love at first sight?
Well, not exactly that. As a matter of fact, she was 12 or 13 years old when I first met her. It wasn't until about 10 years afterwards that we began to get romantically inclined. I suppose in those 10 years I probably grew up.
Either that or she grew up. Now, you say you're a dental assistant?
Yes, a student dental assistant.
You're a student?
Yes.
Where is this?
Lawton School for Medical and Dental Assistants.
Where is that?
That's on Beverly and La Cienega here in Los Angeles.
No. Well, what is a dental assistant, specifically?
Well, most people think she's, they confuse it with a dental technician, but she isn't.
Huh?
Yes. She is.
You wouldn't think so offhand, would you? Are there any boy students at your school?
No.
Why not?
Well, dentists usually prefer girls.
Really? In a recent nationwide survey, more dentists prefer girls than any other cigarette. Well, Judy, you can't trust those dentists. You never know when they're going to pull something, can you? Now, Mr. Lewis, what does an industrial designer do?
Well, he designs practically anything that's manufactured.
Like what?
Anything from a safety pin to a locomotive, I always say.
That can get pretty dreary, can't it? Now, wait a minute. Why would a locomotive need safety pins? I guess when they change engines, they would need safety pins. much demand for your type of work?
Yes, there's a lot. I can't think of anything around us here that really couldn't take some better design. In fact, I think it's...
Judy, that's a direct slap at you.
Well, of course,
You think everything can be improved, is that it?
Well, I'm thinking of something I think Raymond Loewy said, which was that basically in design, perhaps the only two things that he couldn't improve were an egg and a woman.
Well, Hunt, you can play around with an egg, but touch one hair of that woman and you die like a dog. March on, he said. Well, it's been interesting talking to you two, and the first thing in the morning, I'm going to get a new hairdo. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,000 question. But right now, here's something of interest to everybody.
Feature after feature makes the new 1952 DeSoto a really great value. Take, for example, DeSoto's waterproof ignition. Maybe you've heard about the rigid water tests given the electrical system of the new DeSoto. In one, a 1952 DeSoto was driven through a pool of deep water. In another test, a heavy stream of water from a fire hose is trained directly on the engine, full force. Yet the engine starts up immediately and keeps right on running without missing a single beat. These tests demonstrate clearly how the exciting new 1952 DeSoto with waterproof ignition operates smoothly in spite of rain or snow or splashing or heavy condensation. Waterproof ignition. Just one of the countless exciting features that make the 1952 DeSoto your very best car value. See it. Ride in it. Drive the great new 1952 DeSoto, the car that's designed for you and your budget, too. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the low-priced car most like high-priced cars.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George?
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions.
Says
The
this
couple
every
that
week.
Earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Hey, here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected songs of the 40s as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
17.
How much?
17. I think.
17. You got to talk real loud because this show goes all over California. All right, this tune was one of the big novelty hits of the 40s. Give me the title of it. Jerry?
Pistol Packing Mama.
Pistol Packing Mamas. Pistol Packing Mamas.
You're off to a good start. You have $37.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the 37 will you risk?
35.
35. What's the name of this song? Okay, Jerry. Talk it over, and if you don't know, guess. All right, kids, what is it?
We haven't decided. I don't know.
Well, take a stab at it.
Is it something about...
Well, it's the Breeze and I.
They now have $2, Groucho.
$2. Now. Well, here's your third question. How much of the $2 will you bet?
That one.
Bet $1. All right. Play, Jerry. I don't want to set the world on fire is right.
You now
All
have
right.
$3.
Now you've climbed up to $3, and it's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 3 you going to bet?
Should we bet all
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay. What's the name of this song?
Great Big Wonderful World.
The Great Big Wonderful World is right.
Well, I wind up with $6, Groucho.
Well, we don't leave anybody. Nobody leaves here with $6. Nobody leaves here with less than $25. So I'm going to give you one question for $19. Think hard now, and please no help from the audience. You ready?
Yes.
All right. What color is a red herring?
Red.
Red is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Now, before we go any further, there's something I want to mention. If some of you rascals out there are curious to see your old quizmaster in a sailor suit, then see a girl in every port, the picture I made recently with Marie Wilson and William Bendix.
We invited some carpet dealers to the program tonight, Groucho, and our studio audience selected Mr. Jack Danelian just before we went on the air, and his partner is a grandmother, Mrs. Margaret Laird. And here they come. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. Mrs. Margaret Laird and Mr. Jack Danelian. Mrs. Laird, can I call you Margaret?
Yes.
Can you talk?
Yes.
All right. All right, I'll call you Maggie, and you can call me Jake, huh?
No.
No, Maggie?
No, Maggie.
I'll call you Maggie. I'll call you Margaret, huh? How's that?
That's right.
All right. How old are you, Margaret?
I'm 84.
84. What is that, Jake? I thought you were about 39.
I thought I was 16.
That actually looks younger than Benny. Mr. Danelian, I'll just... What'll I call you, Margaret?
Call me Jack.
Call you Jack,
Yes,
huh?
that's right.
Where were you born, Jack?
I have born Eintop, Turkey.
You were born in a turkey?
Also, yes.
Who do you work for, Mr. Danelian?
Well, my brother and myself, we own the Zant Carpet Company. You ever heard of it?
Zant? Where did
Zant
you get
carpet.
Zant? Did you get him from Charlie? You know Charlie Zant? No groaning, please. This is all free, you know.
We bought good old name Zant in the auction for $850.
You bought your name in an auction?
Mm-hmm, we did.
Well, for only $8, you can have the fine old name of Groucho Marx, would you? Did you really plunk down $850 just for a name?
Not exactly. We didn't have the money at the time.
Well, that's a good way to go in business. What happened after you acquired the name?
Well, after we acquired the name, brother and I, we worked many hours, and then we leased the building for $20,000 to enlarge and expand our business. And we did.
You spent $20,000 to enlarge the
No, we
business?
didn't spend it. We leased the place to expand.
So where'd you get the $20,000 from if you didn't have $850 for the name?
We didn't have that either, brother.
Have you ever thought of running for Congress?
Do I have a chance?
Where were you born, Margaret?
In Mulmer, Ontario.
Ontario, huh? Could you tell us
Canada.
what it was like when you were young, Maggie? When you and I were young, Maggie? Margaret? What was it like up in Canada when you were born, or when you were a young lady, a girl, child, a tot? Infant?
Well, I don't hardly know how to start at it, but I'll try and make a stagger at it. We lived on a farm, and we raised ducks and chickens and pigs and cows and horses. I think that was all.
I think that's enough. Well, what was it like in those days on the farm?
Well, you had to work for everything you got, what they don't do today.
How are the girls today compared with those when you were a little
They
child?
don't know they're living.
Why do you say that?
Because they don't do anything. Everything's handed to them. You push a button here, and they push a button there, and they push a button here, and nothing.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you. I've been out with some pretty dead ones lately myself.
And here I thought you were a real nice man. But I'm disappointed.
Margaret, I am a nice man, and a nice man always goes out with dead ones, I've discovered. Now, Margaret, this may be a man's world, but I'm happy to say it's women like you who are running it.
Thank you.
Well, it's been enlightening talking with you. Now, if you want to be enlightened, just visit your DeSoto dealer and see the new 1952 DeSoto.
Are you going to give me a car?
I may start off with an inner tube and then go on from there. Well, that goes inside the tire.
Oh.
And you can hold me to that. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, But George is going to remind our listeners.
The dental assistant and the industrial designer won $6. The secret word is still lamp.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can bill you $20. You selected islands of the world. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$19.
What's this?
No, Margaret. I have the answers. He has them. How much you going to bet? $19? Is that all right with you, Margaret?
That's all right.
All right. What country owns the island of Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico is owned by...
You can guess, too, you know.
I don't know.
Puerto Rico. South America.
No, it's the United States owns Puerto Rico. Huh?
They bet $19?
I'll have you on the carpet in a little while now.
They now have $1, Groucho.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the buck will you bet on your second question?
9 cents.
All right. What country owns the Bahama Islands?
India.
No, I'm sorry, England. Well, so far, you've made a clean sweep of this.
They have 10 cents left.
You've got 10 cents. All right. Here's your third question. How much of the dime are you going to bet this time?
9 cents.
9 cents. What country owns the Azores? Azores. Take a guess.
France.
No, it's Portugal. Now you've got 1 cent left. How much you going to bet? You want to bet a halfpenny? You're going to bet the whole thing.
Only thing left is the poorhouse.
All right, you want to bet the poorhouse, huh? All right, 1 cent, huh? What country owns the island of Sicily?
England.
No, you've certainly been consistent. It's Italy.
They went broke completely.
Nobody leaves here broke. We're going to give you one chance to win $25. Now, this is a pretty tough question, and we don't want any help from the audience. Who was buried in Grant's tomb?
Grant.
General Grant! Look at that, Jack. It's a good thing you had Margaret helping you, Jack. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Groucho, we have a couple of young people that we selected from our studio audience just before we went in the air. They never met before, and they're both single. I'd like you to meet them now, Miss Pat Burrows and Mr. Joe Woods. Come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house, I think. Pat Burrows and Joe Woods, eh? Where are you from, Joe? I bet you're from Nebraska?
No, I'm from Norwalk.
Is that where you were born?
No, I was born in Holland.
Is Woods a Dutch name?
No, it's a real Yankee name, I guess. I converted my real name and shortened it a little bit and made it an American name.
I see. Well, what is the Dutch equivalent of Woods?
Well, my baptized name was Joseph Antonius Wilhelm Lodewijk Skunderwoord.
Well, I can see now why you took to the woods. How old are you, Joe?
30.
30, huh? You're not married?
No.
Well, don't go away. Maybe I can get Pat here, lost in the woods before the night is over. Pat Burrows, eh? How old are you, Pat?
24.
24, huh? And where were you born?
England.
Married?
No.
Planning it? You know, Noel Coward could write 4 or 5 plays around this dialogue. What part of England were you born in?
Quorn, Leicestershire. An agricultural district and the home of the Quorn Hunt.
The home of the what?
The Quorn Hunt.
The corn hunt?
The Quorn.
The corn hunt. Well, is a corn hunt anything like a corn hunt?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're back with Noel Coward again. Well, explain. What is the corn hunt?
It's a pack of foxhounds for hunting foxes.
Oh, and these quorns go out and chase the foxes?
No, the hounds go hunting.
The hounds go and chase the quorns? Is that it? I got quorns, but I never chase any foxes. That's known as the Bunyan Derby. Huh? Well, what are you doing in America? Have you come over here to chase foxes?
No, I'm an Iffy.
I beg your pardon?
I'm an Iffy.
Really? Well, if you keep your shoes on, nobody will notice it. What is an IFE? Is that anything like an Effie or a UFE? Or?
It stands for IFYE, the International Farm Youth Exchange. It's a program arranged for the exchange of farm youth to live with the different farm families in the different countries.
Oh. And you coming over here to live with a farm family?
That's right.
I'm going out in the morning and buy 5 acres. And raise corn, huh? Does anything embarrassing ever happen to a farmer's daughter, Pat?
Oh, yes.
Well, give out with something, Pat, will you? Was this in Arkansas or in California?
Well, I think I'd better go back home, if that's all right. I was in charge of...
What do you mean you're going back home?
To tell you of just one of those little embarrassing moments.
Oh, I
okay?
see. Yes. Rather. Are you there? I could go to England. I speak the language like a native. Huh? Well, tell me what happened to a farmer's daughter in Surrey.
No, Leicestershire.
Oh, Leicestershire. Isn't that stuff you put on liver and onions?
You mean Worcestershire?
Oh, Worcestershire.
I was in charge of a model farm in Leicester when the Duchess of Kent came to open the proceedings, and I was in charge of the different animals, which included a litter of pigs. This litter of pigs escaped and ran amok amongst all the
Ran a
officials.
what?
Ran amok.
Ran amok, huh?
You know.
How far is that? I ran amok in 1 mile and 2/6. Well, what is amok?
Disorderly, I'd say.
Oh, I see. Well, go on. There you are.
I say, they ran... I won't say it again.
No, let's have another go at it.
Actually, yes.
So, there you are, chasing the pig around. Was this a grease pig?
No, it was a litter of pigs. A litter of little pigs.
Oh, a litter of pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And what happened?
I caught it. Them. It was a litter of pigs.
Oh, you
I
caught
told
the whole crowd, eh? Now, were you riding a fox at the time, or...?
No, just Shanks' pony.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, what were you riding, eh? Now, Joe, stop daydreaming over there, Joe. Do you think you could get to like a farm, or are you the city slicker type?
No, I'm a farm boy.
Yeah, huh? Well, hey. Pat, let's get back to you. By the way, do you find Schoenderwald more attractive? He's a farm boy, you know. How does he strike you?
He's different from the farm boys at home.
In what way? Pat, are you panting? I think Pat's ready to go corn hunting. Eh? Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, you'll get a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but Mr. Fenneman is going to remind our listeners.
The dental assistant and the industrial designer still lead with $6.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected important foreign cities. All of these cities are over 500,000 in population. Here's your first question. How much of the $20 will you bet?
17.
17. In what country is the city of Bombay?
India.
India.
India is right. India.
They're on their way. They have $37.
India. Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the $37 will you try this time?
35.
35. In what country is the city of Bucharest? Talk it over.
What?
Hungry.
Hungary.
No, I'm sorry. It's Romania.
Oh.
You were close, but not close enough.
You now have $2.
Oh, here's your third question. How much of the $2 will you bet?
Oh, all right, $2.
You're going to bet the $2. In what country is the city of Glasgow?
Scotland.
Scotland is right.
Well, you're on your way again. You have $4.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
All of it.
$4.
$4. In what country is the city of Sao Paulo? S-A-O, capital P-A-U-L-O.
Brazil.
Brazil is right.
And you wind up with $8. And that means that you people get the chance of the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question. Not far from where you live, there's a neighbor of yours who has a mighty big investment in the community. His offices, his service shop, his showroom are probably familiar to you. Yes, he's your DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And whether you're acquainted with him or not, remember this. He's always glad to see you, always glad to serve you. He considers it a pleasure to show you the two great cars he sells, the beautiful new DeSoto and the handsome new Plymouth. Your DeSoto Plymouth dealer is proud of his fine line of used cars, of all makes and models. And he invites you to see his service shop, where master technicians, using the most modern tools and equipment, do a really top-notch service job, and do it faster, which means a saving to you. Not only that, you'll notice the folks who work in his place really believe in courtesy. So drop in and say hello, because you're always welcome wherever you see the sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And here comes the young couple again, Groucho, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question.
Well, you look strangely familiar to me. Here we go for $1,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help in the audience. Here it is. A book titled Up From Slavery was written by an outstanding leader and educator. His finest memorial is the famous Tuskegee Institute. For $1,000, what was his name? Talk it over. You have 15 seconds.
I'm out. Not even a guess for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Booker T. Washington. That's the correct answer, Booker T. Washington. So that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, you lost the big money, but how much did they win in the quiz, George?
They won only $8, and they shouldn't go away with less than $25.
Nobody goes away with less than $25, so we'll give you one question. This is for $17. Who composed Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? Ludwig Beethoven is right. Congratulations and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you. Good luck.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
Friends, maybe you can wait till next week, but I can't. Because that's when DeSoto is going to announce the most spectacular new car they've ever built. Right now, it's a big secret, and if they knew I was telling you...
Wait a minute, Groucho. Hold everything. You can't tell them yet. It's too early. Folks, you'll have to tune in Groucho Marx next week to find out all about DeSoto's big history-making announcement. Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. A really safe speed depends on conditions. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is floor. F-L-O-O-R. And Groucho, in just a few minutes, there'll be no more secret about America's most exciting new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
Oh, really?
You bet your life. More than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is,
the one, the only...
He's been on before, hasn't he? Oh, that's me. Something early tonight. Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples.
Well, Groucho, we asked for men with unusual occupations tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. James McClellan. His partner is a housewife from the studio audience, Mrs. Peggy Nagel. And here they are. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers, and don't forget, in just a few minutes, we'll hear all about America's most exciting new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Now, if you say the secret word, you divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Just step up a little bit, Peggy. Atta Peggy. Mrs., Mrs., huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to call you Peggy. I hardly know you, huh? Mrs. O'Neill, is it? Nagel, huh? And Mr. James McClellan.
Yes,
McClellan. Where are you from, Peggy?
I'm from Marshalltown, Iowa.
Marshalltown, Iowa? And how long ago since you left there?
Well, I was 4 years old about.
Oh, 16 years ago, huh? How long have you been married, Peggy?
7 years.
7 years? Well, then you must be more than 20, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What sort of work does your husband do, Peggy?
He has an upholstery shop.
Oh, that's pretty stuffy work, isn't it? An upholstery shop?
Yes.
And Mr. McClellan, is that...
Yes.
You know there was once a mayor in New York named McClellan?
No.
You didn't know that?
Never heard of him.
Oh, well then obviously you're not related to him, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Jane, I'll call you Jim, huh?
All right.
And that'll be Jim Dandy. Where are you from, Dandy? Jim?
Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, huh?
Yes.
How long have you been living in California?
I don't live in California. I live in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, and you go home every night? Is that right? Take the Wilshire bus right out Glendale. Well, what are you doing out here, Jim? Is this a pleasure trip?
No, I came out here to get on this program.
Well, then it certainly isn't a pleasure trip. It's a long way from Kansas. What made you think you'd be on the show after you got here?
I wasn't sure I would be. This is the 6th time I've come out here to try to get on the show.
6th time you've
Yes.
been on here? My sponsors come out in Detroit 7 times trying to get me off the show. Well, this is indeed flattering to have you spend all that time and money just to be on the show. And for all you know, you might wind up in Grant's Tomb with $12.50. That's a nice prospect facing a man. How much have you spent just to be on this show? And invested, I mean.
No, I haven't spent anything. I come out here free on the Union Pacific Railroad.
Well, do you come in the train or under it?
No, I come in the train.
In the train?
Yes.
Well, that runs into money, doesn't it?
No, I ride free.
Yeah, well, how do you do that?
I work part-time as a brakeman and third cook on dining cars.
You're a third cook?
Yes.
What are you in charge of the succotash or something? Imagine, combination cook and brakeman. Huh? If the spaghetti is sliding too fast, he puts the brake on it. Did you ever serve brake lining instead of cornbread?
No.
Well, I don't understand. What do? You ride in the back in the caboose and then you run forward if they have to make something? What's the difference between a third cook and a first cook?
Well, the first cook is the last cook to get up in the morning. The third cook is the first cook to get up in the morning. The first cook is the first cook to go to bed at night, and the third cook is the last cook to go to bed at night.
Well, here we are, back with Abbott and Costello. When are you the brakeman?
Oh, about in the fall part of the year.
Oh, I see. You cook in the spring and then you're a brakeman in the fall. That's right. Well, do you cook in the brakeman's outfit or do you break in the cookman's outfit? Imagine. And how far did you travel, Peggy, to be on this show?
About a mile.
See, people come from all over the world just to be on that show. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $1,500 question. Right now, I want you to pay close attention to this. It's the big DeSoto announcement we've all been waiting for.
Announcing the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. It's now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The most exciting new automobile in America. The beautiful new DeSoto with the most exciting new engine in America. The 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine. Here is an entirely new kind of automobile engine with hemispherical or dome-shaped combustion chambers that produce more work per unit of fuel. This means that the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 gives you plenty of reserve power and acceleration at all speeds and on regular gasoline. See this great new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Stop at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers tomorrow and try it from behind the wheel. The new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
All right, here we go. Now, let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected anatomical terms. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
Want me to explain the rules to him first?
Well, yes, if you care to.
All right.
And talk slowly until I get the stogie going. Huh?
All right. You bet as much of your $20.
Slower.
You bet as much of your $20.
Slower.
You take your $20.
Faster, huh?
You bet as much of your $20 as you
Faster,
want.
Fenneman. I'm all there, there.
On each of 4 questions, you see, and then I forgot the rules. You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions.
Unless he does it all together, he can't do it. Huh? Well, explain the rules.
All right.
To him, huh? I'd like to understand them, too. Huh?
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question at the end of the show.
All right, now you have $20. Now, how much are you going to bet of the 20?
How much, 18?
$18. All right. The word pedal pertains to what part of the body?
Foot.
Foot is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $38.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. Now, how much of the $38 will you try this time?
Say 36.
Fine.
36. The word manual pertains to what part of the body?
Hand.
Hands is right.
You now have $74.
Now, how much will you bet?
How much do you want to bet?
You have $74.
73.
Talk up, Peggy.
All right.
Make believe you're talking to your
73.
husband.
73.
How much? 73. The word nasal pertains to what part of the body?
The nose.
No.
Nose is right.
You've now climbed to $147.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the $147 you going to risk?
130.
$130. The word epidermal refers to what part of the body?
The scalp. The skin.
Skin is right.
And you wind up with $277.
Put it there, Peggy. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America.
We have a boarding house keeper and a husband from the audience, Groucho. Mrs. Ann Berner and Mr. Charles Hurtleston. Come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Ann Berner and Charles Hurtleston. Mrs. Ann Berner, you're the boarding house keeper, I presume, eh?
Yes.
Where are you from, Ann?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta? Oh, are you married, Ann?
Yes, I am.
You are, huh? How long have you been married?
5 years.
5 years, huh? You, are you the husband, Mr. Hurtleston?
I'm a husband, not her husband.
Well, don't come running to me with your problem. Where are you from, Charlie? You're a fine-looking young fella.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh. Are all the young fellas down there as handsome as you are, Charlie?
Well, I don't know.
How long have you been married?
15 months.
Meet her, was she from Dallas?
No, that's our nicest suburb.
I thought Neiman Marcus was the suburb of Fort Worth. Now, Mrs. Berner, you operate a boarding house.
I do.
What's the name of this place?
It's the New Hampshire House.
This is in Vermont?
No, it's on New Hampshire Avenue.
Oh, here locally, huh?
Yes.
Well, what kind of a boarding house is it?
It's
Some of our listeners may be interested, you know.
It's a theatrical...
Pretty hungry-looking crowd out there tonight.
It's a theatrical boarding house.
Oh, theatrical boarding house? Oh, you save a lot of hams there, huh?
You have to be in some end of show business to get in.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the end of show business. About to shove me out of the whole thing. I used to play one end of a horse in vaudeville. Would that be qualify me? Now, how large a place is this birdcage that you operate?
26 rooms.
26 rooms?
Yes.
Show people have big appetites, you know. How big are the helpings at your place?
Oh, you can have as much as you want, and then if you want a second helping, we'll even give you the second steak if you want
Well,
it.
that's most generous of you, Mrs. Burney.
Because it only costs 60 cents to buy a steak today, the way I buy them.
Well, are you in close contact with a veterinary? Where you...
Well, I get the steaks anyway.
I'll say you get them anyway. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The housewife and the railroad cook won $277, and the secret word is floor.
By the way, I understand, before I proceed with this, I understand your old quizmaster is on the cover of this week's parade. That's the Sunday Picture magazine. Just thought I'd warn you so you can hide it from the children. Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected songs about water as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? You have $20.
15.
$15. Here's your first question. What is the name of this song? Play, Jerry.
With $35.
Remember, you're going for $1,500 tonight. How much of the $35 will you bet?
20.
20?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the title of this song. Okay, Jerry. Lazy River is right.
You now have $55.
How much you going to bet?
50.
Yeah.
$50. All right. Play, Jerry. Let's have the music. Over the Waves are the loveliest night of the year.
You now have $105.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet? So you have $105.
100.
Okay, here goes.
$100. Give me the title of this song, Mr. F.
California Shawnee River. You wind up with $205.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Put it there, sir.
Well, just before we went on the air, Groucho, our studio audience selected a first sergeant from the United States Army, James Schmidt. His partner is a friend of his, Miss Sue Hansen. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Sergeant Schmidt and Miss...
Sue Hansen.
Sue Hansen, huh? I suppose I should get military. At ease, Sergeant. At ease, babe. Sergeant, I'll just call you Jimmy, huh? James? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's good enough.
I'd rather you didn't look quite so belligerent. Where are you from, Mr. S.?
San Francisco, California.
And what's your hometown?
Kansas City,
Sue?
Missouri.
Kansas City, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you yearn for KC anymore?
No, not at all.
You prefer California?
Yes, I
How
like
old are
it.
you, Sue?
25.
And Sergeant, how old are you?
24.
24. Well, you're outranked. How long have you been in the Army?
10 years.
10 years you've been in the Army?
Yeah.
Were you a drummer boy originally? I can't help but notice all the bars and stripes and ribbons. Could you tell us what all that stands for?
Yeah, the Combat Infantry badge with a star in it, Silver Star, Bronze Star with a cluster, Purple Heart with a cluster, and then just the regular campaign ribbons.
Quite a hero, huh? Where did you get all those things? You must have been in the last war, huh?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of leaving the Army and running for president? Other people have that in mind, Jimmy. I understand you're a friend of the sergeant here, Sue. Is that right? How good a friend are you, Sue?
Well, we're engaged.
You contemplate matrimony with this gent here?
Those are my plans.
Have you consulted the sergeant?
Well, he's agreeable, I think.
Well, he might be agreeable, but does he want to get married? Now, you're a first sergeant. What else do they call you?
Top sergeant or top kick.
I've heard of top sergeants. They're supposed to be the toughest men in the Army, aren't they? Sue, what do you call him when you're alone, Sarge or top kick?
I don't call him top kick or Sarge.
What do you call him?
Well...
I know, it's kind of...
Honey pot?
Honey pot? Honey pot, is this true? Answer in the name of Ulysses S. Grant.
I guess it is.
Those dames, they whittle everybody down to their size. Do you like it when she calls you Honey Pot, Sarge?
I guess I do.
Attention, all privates in Sergeant Schmidt's company. He wants you to call him Honey Pot. That's an order. Over and out. Roger, Sam. Do I sound like Captain Video? Sarge, let's find out about your job. For example, what do you actually do?
Well, I'm the immediate representative of the company commander. I tell the men what the captain want them to do.
And do you tell the captain what the men want him to do? In other words, you're the boss man, huh? And if a man doesn't do his job right, you fire him. Is that right?
There's no such thing as firing in the Army.
And why do they have all those guns and bullets? Well, what are some of your duties specifically?
Well, I maintain the duty roster and see that all the details are shared equally.
Well, that's a pretty responsible job. Are you sure that all the men share alike in the work
Yes, sir,
details?
they're all shared alike.
Mm-hmm. Well, for example, when they're painting the barracks, does the general wield the brush like the other men?
No.
And you call that sharing the work, eh? Can't you ask the captain to fire the general?
Captains don't fire generals.
That's not true. I know an ex-artillery captain from Missouri who fired a general. Of course, he was a very democratic fellow. But... How many men do you have in your company?
Roughly 800. It's a post-operating company.
Roughly 800, huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean by a post-operating company? You operate on the post there?
No, we handle all the administrative functions on post and give logistical support to the ROTC and ORC units in Southern California.
You didn't get a Purple Heart for that. How'd you get the Purple Heart?
That's a while back.
Well, tell us about it. I'm sure the audience would be interested in that.
Well, the first time was in Sicily, jail of Sicily, and then the second time was in Hamhung, North Korea.
It's always that way. The bigger the hero they are, the more modest they are. Well, Sarge, I imagine you must have had some strange experiences in the service. Can you think of any that you could tell
Well,
me?
I never had any strange ones. I had kind of an embarrassing one, though. When I first went in the Army, I was kind of a big guy, and we were over in North Africa getting ready to go to Sicily. Well, I was a corporal at the time. I was 14. So my mom wrote a letter to the old man, and she
What do you
told
mean the old man? Your father?
No, the company commander.
Oh, the CO, huh?
Yeah. So,
who was the old man, remember?
Geez, I forgot his name.
It's just as well, I guess. Huh?
Well, anyway, she wanted me to come home. Thought I was not old enough to be over there.
Well, that's absurd. You were 14.
So it kind of got out in the company, and, being a squad leader, and I told everybody I was 20, why, it was kind of embarrassing when they found out.
And what did the CO do? Did he holler when he heard about it?
Well, he didn't like it.
That's the understatement of the week, I think. Have you any idea, Sue, what your life would be like if you were married a first sergeant? For example, Sarge, what time do you start to work in the morning?
Well, I generally get up about 5 and fall out for reveille at 5:30.
Why don't you get up the same as everybody else, huh? Don't you ever hurt yourself falling out in the morning? Would you be willing to get up at 5 in the morning, 5:30, and make coffee for a sergeant here?
Well, I thought perhaps I could make it the night before, and then he could warm it up in the morning.
How do you like it? They're not even married yet, and she's figured out how they're going to make the coffee. Sarge, my advice is after you're married, go over the hill. By the time you get home, she'll make it hot for you. Well, you're a charming couple, and I wish you both the best of luck, and I hope you wind up as a general and eventually run for president. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. You run your $20 into more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The housewife and the railroad cook lead with $277.
And here we go. This is Famous Lovers of Fact and Fiction. Now you have $20. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$19.99.
$19.99. That's right. She's a very cautious girl and wants a nest egg, that's all. All right, here we go. Prince Albert was proposed to by a famous queen. What was her name?
Think real hard.
Talk it over, and if you don't know, make a guess.
Prince Albert. Huh?
Prince Albert.
Prince Albert was proposed to by a famous queen. What was her name?
Not Elizabeth. Josephine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Queen Victoria.
Victoria.
Gee, you have 1 cent.
That's very better.
You're going to bet all of it? All right, remember you're going for $1,500 tonight. You're going to bet the whole cent on your second question. Roxanne was loved by a long-nosed swordsman and a poet. They made a movie about her. What was his name?
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Cyrano de Bergerac.
You now have 2 cents.
Gentlemen, keep your 2 cents out of this, will you? Here's your third question. How much of the 2 cents are you going to risk?
All of it.
All of it? Elizabeth Barrett was in love with a famous poet. What was his name?
Browning.
Browning is right. Just that first one.
You now have
nervous, huh?
4 cents.
Now you got 4 cents. Now, how much you going to bet?
All of it.
All of it. She's real bright. The first one was just confusion. I think she had stage fright. You're going to bet the whole 4 cents. In the ballad, Frankie shot her lover. What was his name?
Johnny.
Johnny is right.
Well, I wind up with 8 cents.
8 cents. I can figure that out, too, buddy. I'm as sharp as you are. Well, we'll give you one more question. Answer it correctly, and we'll see that you don't leave here with less than $25. You've got 8 cents, so this question is for $24 and $24.92. Think hard now, and please no help in the audience. What kind of fruit grows on a cherry tree?
Cherries.
Cherries is right. Put it there, Sue. Put it there, Sarge.
Well, you wound up with 8 cents, so that means that the housewife and the railroad cook with $277 in just 1 minute get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Thank you.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Now let's learn more about the spectacular new DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
It's here, the exciting new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 with power steering, one of the most remarkable advancements in automobile history. Power steering takes almost all the effort out of turning the wheels. Imagine, one finger. Yes, one finger is all it takes to turn the wheels, even when the car is at a standstill. In parking your car, you've never known anything to compare with DeSoto power steering. With no more effort than it takes you to dial a phone,
you can turn the wheels and glide comfortably into the tightest parking space. And out on the highway, DeSoto Power Steering makes your control of the car easier with less road shock. No matter how bad the road, DeSoto Power Steering helps you hold a true and steady course, and with practically no effort on your part. DeSoto Power Steering. Never has there been a more brilliant advance in making it easier, safer for everyone to handle a car. See the brilliant new DeSoto with power steering, the 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine, and other great features. It's now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
And now here's the housewife and the railroad cook, all set for the $1,500 DeSoto Plymouth question, Groucho.
Now, here we go for $1,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. One of the well-known countries of the world is divided into two parts by 1,000 miles of another country. For $1,500, what country is geographically split into two separate parts? Talk it over. You got 15 seconds. Well, of course you can guess.
Russia?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The correct answer is Pakistan. It is divided by 1,000 miles of the Republic of India territory. So that means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. Well, you lost the big money, but you won quite a lot in the quiz. How much?
$277 in the
Well,
quiz.
that's not too bad. Congratulations and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the DeSoto Fire Dome 8 tomorrow.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Look out for the driver who doesn't look out for you. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is heart. H-E-A-R-T. And Groucho, in just a few minutes, there'll be big news about America's most exciting new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
Oh, really?
You bet your life. More than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only... Groucho!
That's me, General Marx. My hat's in the ring. Well, here I am again, George, with $2,000 for one of our couples.
Oh, Groucho, we invited some taxi cab drivers to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Vernon Brown. His partner is a young lady with an interesting occupation, Miss Betty Farrell. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers. And don't forget, in just a few minutes, we'll all hear about America's most exciting new car, the DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Remember that name, Fire Dome 8.
Now, if you say the secret word, you divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Betty Farrell and Mr. Vernon Brown, a likely-looking duo, especially Betty. Where are you from, Betty?
Originally from Clarksburg, West Virginia.
And you're a cab driver?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
31st and Main Street, Los Angeles.
That's a nice city out there, too. You're shaking a little. Is your meter running? Or?
I'm on waiting time.
Are you married, Vernon?
Yes, sir.
You are, huh? How'd you meet your wife?
Oh, I met her at a USO dance when I was in the service.
You were in the service?
Yes, sir.
What branch were you in?
I was in the Air Sea Rescue in the Army Air Force.
Mm-hmm. How old are you, Betty?
29.
29? Well, I thought you were about 19.
Thank you very much.
Are you sure you're 29?
I wouldn't lie to you.
Well, that's besides the point. How do you know you're 29?
Well, it says so on my birth certificate.
Let's see it.
Oh, I don't have it with me.
Could I see it some other time?
Uh-huh.
There's all kinds of ways, you know. You just don't have to ask for a phone number. Birth certificate, driving license, anything. Draft card. Are you married?
No.
Oh, there's good news tonight. Just call me Gabriel Marks, huh? Now, what shall I call you, Vernon? Cabby, Hacky, or just, hey, you?
Oh, just Brownie.
Brownie, eh? A pretty big brownie, I should say. Who do you drive for?
A yellow cab in Los Angeles.
Oh, I should think you'd be driving a brown cab and your name would be Yellow. Huh? How long have you been a cab jockey?
Oh, over a period of 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Now, where do you drive this hack?
All over Southern California.
Really? Have you tried driving it up the Los Angeles River? Suppose I was down in San Diego. Now, would you drive down there and pick me up?
We're not allowed to pick up loads outside the city.
Well, thank you not to regard me as a load. There's no law that says you can't get loaded in San Diego. Just what do you mean by that, Mr. B?
Well, each city has their own franchise cab, so we have to pick up our loads in the city of Los Angeles.
I see. What hours do you drive your hack?
Well, they have different shifts, but I worked 11 to 8 shift days.
Mm-hmm. If you drove it as soda, you wouldn't have to shift. You realize that?
Oh, yeah, they're a very fine machine.
Don't call it a machine, eh? It sounds like... What sort of work do you do, Betty?
I'm in concert management, Groucho.
Oh. Who do you work for?
Moss, Heyman, and Wilson.
Moss, Heyman, and Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
What's your position in this outfit?
I'm called an executive secretary.
By whom?
By him.
Well, do you do much running in that office?
Oh, constantly. I'm like the proverbial fullback, actually. They give me the signals, and then I try and run the plays.
Those fellows, Morse, Heyman, and Wilson, must be on the offensive platoon. Well, tell me, Betty, what are your duties besides eluding the Three Stooges?
I'll never be able to go back to work after that.
You won't have to, Betty.
Well,
I have some ideas on that subject myself. Well, let's climb back in your cab, Brownie. And tell me, do you enjoy your work, Vernon?
I certainly do. That's the only job you can be a little late on, and you're practically your own boss. And if you want to take a little time out for a little extracurricular activities, you can.
Why, Vernon? What a racket you got. You've got the only job in the world where you can pick up a blonde, charge her 20 cents a mile, and then expect a tip. What do you charge for riding in your cab, Vernon?
Oh, it's 50 cents for the first drop and 10 cents for each additional 2/5 mile.
Wait a minute. You drop your fare and charge him 50 cents? You charge extra for backing up over him? What do you mean by drop?
Well, when you get in the cab and sit down, why, we drop the flag. That's 50 cents.
Suppose I don't sit down. Suppose I stand up all the way. What do you mean that?
Well, the law won't allow us to take care of you that way.
What do you mean?
We can't haul you standing up.
Not even if I give my seat to a lady? Suppose I prefer standing. What then?
You'll just have to take a bus.
was going to give you a big tip, but now I won't. That crack just cost you a nickel, old boy. Well, you're a charming couple, and I've enjoyed this little chat. It's been most restful.
Oh, thank you.
Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,000 question. Right now, I want you to listen carefully to this. It's the big DeSoto announcement we've all been waiting for.
Presenting the most spectacular new car ever built. The DeSoto Fire Dome 8 with the famous 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine. This revolutionary new engine has hemispherical or dome-shaped combustion chambers, a design that gives you more work per unit of fuel. And that means the DeSoto Fire Dome 8, operating on regular gasoline, actually outperforms other cars using premium fuels. It means when you get behind the wheel of the exciting new DeSoto Fire Dome 8, you get instant acceleration. You go from a standing start to cruising speeds in a matter of brief seconds. And at any speed range, you have reserve power. Power to spare should you need it. Yes, friends, the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 has power written all over it. So tomorrow, go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealer and see the new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George?
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $2,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
All right, here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected familiar sections of cities. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you try?
19.
19? You don't even consult this with Betty, huh?
No, they always tell me men handle the money, so I'll just go along with it.
Not in my book. In what city do you find Greenwich Village?
New York.
New York is right.
You're on your way. You have $39.
Remember, you're going for $2,000 tonight. Now, how much of the $39 will you bet on your second question?
38.
38. In what American city do you find the Basin Street section?
New Orleans.
New Orleans is right.
You now have $77.
How much you going to bet?
76.
76. Here's your third question. $76. In what city do you find the Nob Hill section?
San Francisco.
San Francisco is right.
You now have climbed to $153.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are you going to go for?
152.
Okay. In what city do you find the Loop?
Chicago.
Chicago is right.
And
Put it there, kid.
you wind up with $305.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
A man from a hardware store and a housewife were chosen, Groucho, just before we went on the air. And here they are, Mrs. Enriqueta Vasio and Mr. Peter Lang. Come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Let's see now. Enriqueta Vasio?
Enriqueta Vasio.
Vasio and Peter Lang. And Mrs. Enrique, how do you pronounce it?
Enriqueta.
Enriqueta Vasio, huh?
Well, if you want to call it that way.
I can see I'm going to have trouble. What does your husband call you?
He calls me Mujercita.
And what do you call him?
Corazoncito.
And after that, I suppose you start slugging each other. What is that in English?
Mujercita means little lady.
Oh, well, you're a little lady, all right.
And corazoncito means little heart.
Oh. Heart's the secret word. Yeah. You said heart, that's the secret word, so here's 50 smackers for you and 50 pesos for you. Now, what do those names mean in English? One means little heart, and what does the other one mean? Little club?
Well, I found a new definition for the heart.
Oh, 50 smackers, huh? How many pesos is that?
Pesos? You're good in mathematics?
Let's forget it, huh? Now, what do you want me to call you? I can't keep track of these, Enriqueta and... Fazio, what do you want me to call you?
Well, my friends call me Keta.
Keta, I'll just call you Sam. That's simple. Where are you from, Keta?
You mean at first?
Where are you from generally? Let's put it on that way.
I was born in El Paso, Texas.
In El Paso, Texas?
See?
Now, your name is Peter. That I can pronounce, huh? You're the hardware man, is that
Yes, sir.
right? Where are you from, Pete?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh. And how long you been away from there?
Oh, about 30 years.
30 years?
30 years.
How old are you?
31.
Did you come by cab?
Oh, I was brought.
Where do you work, Pete?
I work in Beverly Hardware Company in Beverly Hills, Beverly's oldest store.
Oh, is that so? I go in that store frequently then.
We appreciate your patronage.
Well, I'd go in anyway. Now, what do you carry in your store?
Oh, probably 50,000 items.
Name them.
It'll take about a week, I think, to get them all.
Well, I have plenty of time. Make it the first week in August, huh? Why do you have to carry so many items?
Well, we have quite a number of things, and in those things we have different styles and sizes of the same thing.
I see. Well, could you give us an example?
Oh, sure. We take nails. We got common nails, box nails, galvanized nails, finishing nails, roofing nails, flooring nails, nails with big heads, little heads, and no heads
How
at all.
do nails get big heads? I mean, the little nails tell them how pretty they are?
Well, it's a hit on the head from the start that does it.
Oh. Now, suppose I slunk into your store. Now, what are some of the things you try to sell me?
Well, we've got locks and butts and catches and even a Hawaiian Wriggler.
A what?
A Hawaiian Wiggler.
Hawaiian Wriggler? Wiggler?
Right.
Could you get me a Hawaiian Wiggler? About 108 pounds with blue eyes.
Well,
Could you try?
Yes, we can
I'll
probably furnish
drop-
you with better bait than maybe you've been using.
Well, that's certainly possible, huh? Now, Mrs. Vaccio, do you do anything besides housewifing?
Yes, I work for the Youth Services for the Board of Education.
Oh, really? Well, what do you do for the Board of Education?
I teach arts and craft to underprivileged children.
Oh. Well, suppose I was one of your pupils. How would you go about teaching me something?
Well, if you were a little girl, I would say, Maria, if you have an old skirt at home, bring it and I'll help you make an apron out of it.
Yeah, well, that's my racket, old skates. I didn't want anything. What else do you do?
Well, I also teach them how to sing and dance, Mexican folk dancing, and songs, the Indian songs also.
Well, could you do something for us?
Yes, I'll sing you an Indian in Tarascan language.
You have to have music for this?
No.
Oh.
Cheparin, 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 tomate tekonengone. Ai chiki vitiri, ai chiki matore ku wekan me wekan chupane. Korale churape tumale, ai, korale churape tumale. Ai chiki vitiri, ai chiki matore ku wekan me wekan chupane.
That was very pretty. Now, what does it mean in English?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that gives us something in common. You don't know what you're singing, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I must say this has been very educational. And if you want an education, ask your dealer to show the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $2,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The taxicab driver and Betty Farrell won $305, and the secret word is still heart.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected music through the years as your category. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you risk?
15.
15? This song was popular at the turn of the century. Give me the title. I wonder who's kissing her now is right.
And you're on the way. You have $35.
Now, how would you say that in Mexican? I wonder who's kissing her now.
¿Quién la estará besando?
Isn't that cute? All I know is posse. Posse, Grazia, and Baracho.
What's borracho?
Drunk. All right, you're going for $2,000 tonight. Now, how much of the 2,000? How much of the? How much?
35.
How much of the 35? I got Fenneman blood in me. I forgot to tell you.
$34.50.
You're going to bet $34.50? All right. This song was popular during the 20s. What's the name of it? Change is made is right.
You're really climbing. You have $69.50.
Here's your third question. How much of the $59.60 will you bet?
$69.50.
Oh, yes. How much of the $59.60 will you bet?
Oh, for $69.50, yeah.
Oh.
Let's see,
$69.50.
You're going to bet how much?
69?
68.
68, the lady says.
68 what?
$68.
$68, okay. The late Mildred Bailey helped popularize this song of the 30s. Give me the title. Old rocking chair has got you.
And you have $137.50.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the $137.50 will you risk?
135.
All right.
135 smackers. This song is currently one of the nation's favorites. Okay, Jerry. Saying this right. Put it there, kid.
And you wind up with $272.50.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
Thank you. We invited some women who work for newspapers to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Glennis Reeson, and her partner is Mr. Henri Vallée, who has an interesting background, Groucho. And here they are. Folks, come on in and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Miss Glennis Reeson, is that right?
Mrs. Glennis Reeson.
Mrs. Glennis Reeson? Oh,
right.
I'm sorry to hear that. And Mr. Henri Vallée, eh?
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Reeson, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate to say that. What does your husband do?
He's a student at the Los Angeles College of Optometry.
Oh, but he can't see his hand before his face, huh? How long did you go together before you married him?
About a year.
Mr. Valley, where are you from, Hank?
Brussels, Belgium. Brussels, Belgium.
Oh, from Belgium, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
Belgian, Brussels sprout, eh? Is your wife from Brussels?
No, she's Romanian.
Oh, so am I. Every morning I'm Romanian in bed until around 9 o'clock. Where in Romania is she from?
Bucharest.
Oh, well, I Romanian in bed with my Bucharest. Henry, do they make jokes like that in Belgium?
Oh, no, they don't make jokes like this anywhere where I have been.
Well, just where have you been?
Well, I have been in 32 countries.
Have you ever been in Nome, Alaska?
No, I haven't.
Well, it happens that's the most popular joke in Nome, Alaska. They like 'em cold up there. And in the future, I'll thank you never to mention Romania again. Let's see now. What sort of work do you do, Glennis?
I'm in the classified department at the Santa Monica Outlook.
Oh, well, apparently I've been reading the wrong columns. Occasionally I do look through the classified ads. They always seem to have a man looking for a rich widow or a woman looking for a rich husband. Do you have, you carry ads like that?
Oh, once in a while. Mm-hmm.
Do you help these people write their own ads?
Yes, part of my job is to frame the ad.
I don't want to frame the ad. I just want to frame the rich widow who runs the ad. Suppose I wanted to sell my house. Now, how would you frame the ad?
Well, the average ad would read something like, lovely 8-room house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, enclosed yard with swimming pool, prominent actor sacrifice leaving town.
Does it say why I'm leaving town? Say, that ad sounds pretty good. I'll buy that place as soon as I get rid of the dump I'm living in now. Suppose I was looking for a rich young spinster. How would I advertise for that?
Well, you'd simply describe yourself and describe the girl you're interested in.
And you'd expect that to get results?
Could hope.
I think it would be better if I just described the kind of girl I'm interested in. If I described myself, people would think I was selling a second-hand lawnmower. Matter of fact, I was a gay blade at one time. Well, help me out with my ad. Now, how would you frame it?
Well, I'd say something like eligible bachelor, well-groomed, diversified interests, desire to meet rich, attractive widow, object matrimony.
I don't think that would do it. How about active, cultured gentleman looking for a 105-year-old heiress? Must have bad cough, object money. Henry, let's get back to you. Does your wife have any little Belgian pet names for you, like my little Belgian Harry?
She calls me Puyo.
No, I said pet names.
It's a pet name.
Huey is a pet name?
It's a pet name.
What does it mean?
It's Romanian. It stands for little chicken.
Means little chicken, right?
It does, yeah.
Any man who allows his wife to call him Puey must be a henpecked. Imagine that joke in Romania. Why does a Puey cross the street? And he complains about my jokes.
It's not a joke.
Well, Henri, I've kidded you, but frankly, you're a nice fellow, and I've enjoyed chatting with you. Isn't he a nice fellow?
Very nice.
Well, she is a lovely girl. I think I'm very fortunate.
Well, I think the three of us will be very happy together. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,000. You run your $20 and more than the other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The taxicab driver and Betty Farrell still lead with $305. And the secret word is heart.
All right, here we go. Let's see how I can build you $20. You selected famous men of foreign countries. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$19.
$19, all right. Paul von Hindenburg was the general of what country?
Germany.
Germany is right.
You have $39.
Remember, you're going for $2,000 tonight. How much of the $39 will you try now?
38.
38. What nationality was the violin maker Stradivari?
Italian.
Italian is right.
You now have $77.
Here's your third question. How much of the 77?
76.
76. Geoffrey Chaucer was a famous poet of what country?
Chaucer. England.
England is right.
You climbed to $153.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 153?
She said all.
All of it? Okay. What nationality was the painter Goya? G-O-Y-A.
Spanish.
Spanish is right.
And you wind up with $306. And that means that you, in just 1 minute, get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question.
Oh, forever.
Thank you. Just a moment. You're the winning couple by $1.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, good.
Now let's learn more about the spectacular new DeSoto Firedome 8.
Do you feel like an India rubber man after twisting and turning the steering wheel and shifting backward and forward to wedge your car into a narrow parking space? Then, brother, we've got news for you. Parking's no longer a problem. It's a cinch with sensational new DeSoto power steering. To turn the steering wheel, it takes actually as little effort as dialing a phone. That's right, with only one finger. Even when the car is at a standstill, you can turn the wheels easily, thanks to DeSoto power steering, one of the most remarkable milestones in automotive history. By an ingenious hydraulic system, power steering on the new DeSoto not only takes the hard work out of parking, but on the highway it makes your control of the car easier, safer, with less road shock. No matter how bad the road, DeSoto power steering lets you literally steer almost without effort. And friends, power steering is only one of the many great features that are yours to enjoy in the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8. See it. Drive it. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And here comes the winning couple, Groucho. Mr. Valley and the girl from the newspaper all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question.
All right, here we go for $2,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, and think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here it is. The capital of Tibet is a mysterious city surrounded by great mountains. It is the center of Buddhism and the home of the Dalai Lama. It's been in the news from time to time ever since you can remember. For $2,000, what is the name of this forbidden city, the capital of Tibet?
Lhasa.
Lhasa is right. What about me?
Thank you very much.
Well, you win $2,000 plus how much in the quiz, George?
$306 in the quiz.
That's $2,306. Congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the DeSoto Fire Dome 8 tomorrow.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. When you're walking, think for two, the driver and you. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.